Good morning, guys. Creighton here from Logic Lounge Gaming. Today we are doing another flight sim video. These are always fun for me because I love flight sim, and today it's going to be an incredibly long flight, and if you are experienced with aircrafts, you can probably tell where we're going to be going today. So we are currently sitting at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, SeaTac for short, my home airport, and the plane that I am actually in is an Emirates 777-200LR. So if you know where they're based out of, you can kind of tell where we're going. We are going to Dubai. It's going to be a long 14-hour flight, and it's going to be a very busy flight indeed. We get to go kind of polar today. We're going to almost cross over the North Pole, which is fun. This is Taxi to Gates, Seattle scenery, which is just a fantastic scenery. I love all of their level of detail that they've put into this. We'll be flying into Fly Tampa's Dubai scenery, which will be fun as well. That will be a morning flight. We're actually taking off in the morning and landing in the morning. It's about 7 a.m. here. We have about an 8 a.m. Takeoff time. As you guys can see, the loaders down there are just starting to get ready here as we'll jump into the cockpit and actually get everything set up. So we're in a turnaround state. This plane actually stayed overnight in Seattle. Well, I guess the real plane stayed overnight in Seattle. We're going to be doing this as real ops as possible. So like I said, this plane stayed overnight, so we'll just get everything set up here. We'll turn the emergency lights on. We'll get the ADI-RU up. We're already connected to external power, which is good. We'll get the air to go to auto. And I think that's all the overhead that we need to do. I haven't flown the 777 in a very long time. So actually, let's bring up our electronic checklists here, and we'll see what we need to do. So we're in pre-flight right now. Oxygen, we're just going to assume is tested 100%. And our fuel load. So let's set up our weights and balances right now. So we'll do that here on the right CDU. Our fuel today will be in pounds, although that is wrong because we're going to do a little bit of a change up here. I actually need this to be in kilograms because that is what my... There we go. That's what my flight plan gave me, so we'll do this in kilograms. Plus, I think Dubai does theirs in kilograms anyways. So we'll be taking 115,000 kilograms. So 115,100 is the amount that we are taking today. That's about an 80% fuel load. So we'll be testing the limits of the 777. And we actually have not a horribly heavy flight. It's actually 184.9 tons. So we're only, technically it's a 54% load. How it is in the PFPX flight plan is we actually have a full passenger load, but we aren't taking very much cargo. We could take about 20 more tons of cargo if we really wanted to, but then we'd be testing the limits of said aircraft. So we have our fuel load all checked, so we'll give that a check. We will hold off on the before start checklist. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't want to do that either. Hit the wrong button. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll get our FMS set up for this flight. It's going to be a long flight. It has a lot of waypoints, but after we enter the inertial reference system, we'll actually have a company route that we follow, and it is KSEA OMDB 01 for the company route. We will request that route, and it will go off to our dispatch and send us back a flight dispatch route, which I will include our PFPX flight plan in the links in the description down below, so you can check those out. We are flying on the VATSIM network, so I'll even probably have a link to the VATSIM flight log, and I'll be trying to stay on the network for the entire 14 hours. We'll see how well that works out. So it is loading the route right now into the FMS. Just did so right there. Does anything else pop up? Nope. All right, we will activate the route. So now we'll go to our initialization here. We're actually going to do a request per the preference. There we go. So we are going up to initial flight altitude of flight level 310. We got some wind data that we can load in here. So we'll load in the wind data. That's always important, so we know what the wind is being like. Our destination forecast is also ready for us. Our transition level in Dubai, I believe, is 8,000 feet, so we'll put that in the transition level. I will double check that once we get in the air and I check charts. From here, we can go to our departure. So we'll be taking off a full length of 3-4 right, so that's actually right behind us, so it'll be a nice short taxi. And we have the Mountain 7 departure, which is basically just a due north departure to our first route. So it'll be vectors to our first point after Nazug, which will be ellipse. So it kind of goes like that, if we technically want to do it properly. And we can actually review how we do like so. So it's an initial right turn, but what we're hoping for is we're going to just go straight to ellipse. And because there's no ATC on, I'm just going to cheat this a little bit here. We're just going to go due north onto our flight path. Now what I like to do is I always like to just kind of go through here and see if we have anything. Nope, no route discontinuities. We'll be going up to flight level 390 pretty far on into the flight, which should be good. And nope, that looks all good to go here. So we'll be using flaps 15 for takeoff since we have heavy weight. Our center of gravity calculated for us. Now I have calculated our takeoff references, which is a little bit different here. So V1 is 155. V rotate is 159. And V2 is 165. And that was calculated by TopCat, which is a part of PFPX. So that's the values that it gave us. So you have a little bit higher takeoff weight, or a little bit higher takeoff speeds than what it wants to recommend us for. We are not derating, but we do have a derate temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. So we'll have to go back to here, re-enter these, since I did the process wrong. So 155, 159, and of course 165. Perfect. All right, I think that sets up, yes it does, that sets up our before takeoff stuff. What we can do now also is set up these speeds, so 165 right here. We'll put this to runway heading, which is like 345, and then because we don't have any ATC on right now, I'm just going to set our altitude all the way up to our initial flight level, which is 310. Turn on our flight directors, left first, then right, prime VNAV and RNAV, or VNAV and LNAV, excuse me. And we're good to go here. So we're taking off out of the South Satellite, which is the international type terminal for Seattle. It's actually both a commuter terminal and a international. So this right-hand side here, kind of along these gates right here, those are the international gates that go straight to TSA. Fun fact, since I'm somebody who knows a lot about Seattle, it looks like we got Seattle Tower on. So I guess we will talk to him and get our clearance. So I think we're ready to go here. So we'll tune over to him. He is 119.9. So 119.9. I'll give him just a little bit to set up a an ATIS, but we'll close our doors since we're pretty much primed for pushback here. We'll close our doors and arm them. And we can close cargo as well, so we'll do that. Whoops. The cargo doors can close. Perfect. Now we are ready for before start checklist. Flight deck door is closed and locked. Passenger signs are coming on. MCP data is set, so our V2 is 165, our heading is 345, and we'll probably get our initial of, I think it's 10,000 feet is our initial. So that will be our MCP. Takeoff speeds, V1 is 155, VR is 159, and V2 is 165. CDU pre-flight is complete. Trim will be 4.75 units, which we'll set in the pushback since we're not pressurized on the hydraulics just yet. And our taxi and takeoff briefing is complete. So let me just do a quick... Oh, so I guess they're departing 1-6 left, so we'll have to actually change this up a little bit. We'll change on the fly, so we'll take off 1-6 left, and we'll do the Seattle 4 departure. So now I gotta change my submitted flight plan real quick, so you'll probably have no sound. So it's SEATL4 to Seattle for 1-6 left. We'll just change that. And it's information Charlie. It will be the same takeoff speed since it is the same runway. So 155, 159, and 165. Set there. So our beacon can come on now. Okay, and we're ready for the before taxi checklist, which will come here in a second. So we'll usually switch this over to that one. Come back here, switch it over here, and we'll get our fuel pressurized. And we'll start our APU. So we'll get ready for the pushback here. Usually takes a couple seconds for the APU to kick online. We'll actually see it start to rev up here as the RPM goes up. Looks like we're getting a good start here on the APU. RPM will go up to about 100 before it kicks on. We'll prime this for ground connections to come off. Going to adjust the audio on vPilot slightly so I can hear better. All right, APU should be alive now, is it? Yeah, not yet. We're waiting for it. There it is. APU is alive, so we'll move all of our chocks. And we'll prepare for pushback and departure. Nose left, tail right. And we don't want to start before pushback. And we'll give Seattle Tower a call. Seattle Tower, good morning. Emirates 228 Heavy, stand Sierra 16, ready for clearance to Dubai.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Emirates 228 Seattle Tower, hello. You're cleared to the Dubai International Airport, Seattle for departure. Radar vectors NIZUG, then filed. Climb by SID. Set maintain 900,000. Departure is offline, squawk 1504.
Okay, 9,000 after departure, 1504 in the box, Emirates 228 Heavy.
Emirates 228 Heavy, read back correct. Expect runway 16 left for departure. Call for taxi with information Charlie.
Live estimate
Camera 228 Heavy has information. Charlie, and we'll call you for the taxi. Perfect. All right. So we got that set, and I think we're ready for the pushback. Yes. So we will make sure that...
Seattle Verizon 3880 radio check.
There we go. Jetway is now retracting.
Release parking brake.
And pushback, here we go.
All engines clear. Start that wheel.
So we're at the before taxi checklist, so we'll start right-hand side timer. And so we're currently in the non-movement area, which I usually wait until we're outside of the non-movement area to start the engines. And the non-movement area, you can kind of define as the roadway right here. So I kind of wait till my engines are past the roadway to get started. So you can see we're going to come back on this line right here as we push back. So Emirates has a twice daily flight to Seattle. Their morning flight is a 777-200LR, and their afternoon flight is a 777-300ER.
Can you accept voice, or are you receive, or are you voice, or are you text only?
So we're
right now, if you can hear me, then you're probably receive. Unless you want to talk back, then that's voice.
So we're doing the early morning flight instead of their afternoon flight. So now we'll start engine number 2. So you can see the engine come up here. You can see the air is feeding that engine, and we'll start number 2.
Set parking brake.
Horizon 3880, Roger. Clear to Reno International Airport, Sigma 8 departure. Lakeview transition, then it's filed. Climb by the Civics at maintain 9,000. Departures offline, squawk 1560.
Love the sound of those 777 engines.
Unlocking gear.
Okay, so engine 2 is stabilized.
Bypass main removed.
Start engine 1. You can see the air is feeding engine 1, getting it up to speed, and we'll flip that.
Horizon 3880, back correct. Runway 16 left for departure. Advise ready to taxi with information, Charlie.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Alright, engine 2. So we'll also pressurize our hydraulics, because I kind of forgot to do that. And I'm going to wait for the backup generator to kick off. And we'll turn off the APU. And we will commence the after start procedures. Switch that over. Oh, I do want to... Which one is it? Where's hydraulics? 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 There's hydraulics. So we're 4.75 on the stabilizer. There's the stabilizer, 4.75. Our mode Charlie is coming on. And we'll do the checklist. Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice is unneeded today. It's got quite a warm day here. Recall is checked. Auto brake is into RTO. Flight controls. So we'll do flight controls here. We'll switch back to the MFD. Flight controls. Here we go. 2 up, 2 down.
Horizon 3880, runway 1.
2 up, 2 down.
Taxi via Bravo, Charlie.
2 up, 2 down. Full left. Full right. So we have full movement there. Ground equipment is clear, and that is the before taxi checklist. So now we'll call up Seattle. Seattle Tower, Emirates 228 Heavy with information. Charlie, ready to taxi, 16 left.
Emirates 228 Heavy, running 16 left, taxi via Bravo, Charlie, Seattle, altimeter 3004.
Bravo Charlie 16 left, Emirates 228 Heavy. We'll start our taxi, and as we do, we will lower our flaps here. You can see the Alaska Airlines hangar as we make our way forward. Probably not on the yellow line. Not even close. So we are in prepared 3D, not flight sim. I know my last videos have all been in Flight Simulator X, and I moved over to prepared 3D. It's much better on the system. It looks much nicer. I can produce a little bit more higher quality videos, although some of the sceneries are very graphically intensive, just like Seattle is. So you might see some chop, but I've tried to make it as best as I can. Now it's pretty much just a taxi on down. There was a Horizon flight around here somewhere, and I don't know if we could actually see where the Horizon flight is. Somewhere around here. Probably a little Dash 8. So this is the Southwest and United terminals right here. Or that's where they mainly go out of. And then this entire northern half is pretty much Alaska Airlines, and American owns just a tiny little sliver in there. So as I was saying earlier, I know the guy was talking, so I'm not sure how well it came across in the recording, but Emirates has a twice daily flight to Seattle. One is an early morning flight that is a 777-200 LR. And then there is an afternoon flight, which is a 777-300 ER, which is a much larger plane. So we are replicating almost to the T the early morning flight. The late afternoon flight would take much longer for me to kind of wait around, and I'd probably be landing about 4 or 5 a.m. my time, so I'd rather do a much more reasonable flight than this. So continue our way down this terminal here. Kind of doing a fast taxi.
3881 com, ready 16 left, we've takeoff.
Oh, he's taking off. Well then. See if we can see him. Could be right around here somewhere. Oh, there he is. He's right there. I don't think... Is that a Dash? Is he a Dash 8? Oh, he is a Dash 8. Look at that. Neat. That looks cool. Okay, cabin is ready. Just a long, straight taxi. I love Seattle because their taxi is just so simple and straightforward. It's just straight ahead. And now we're coming up on the right-hand side. This is all the cargo terminals right here. So this is where FedEx comes in, UPS. FedEx is a huge hub right here in Seattle, as well as some of the international carriers like EVA Air and I can't remember all of them, but it's EVA Air, and I think Korean Airlines also has it. You can see, there he goes. All right, so we gotta go to Charlie, which is the second left. And Seattle Tower, Emirates 228 Heavy will be fully ready at Charlie.
Emirates 228 Heavy, running 16 left, line of weight.
Line of weight 16 left, Emirates 228 Heavy.
Horizon 3880, please change group, have a good one.
Alright, so we'll turn on our lights here as we make our left onto the runway.
Yep.
Cloudy day here in Seattle, which is, well, like every day. All lined up here.
United 228, 1 com, running 16 left, clear for takeoff, flight heading 070.
070 after departure, clear for takeoff, Emirates 228 Heavy. .070. Wow, okay. So we'll do about 60% and 1 toga. Speed set. .80 knots. V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Enabling autopilot. Start our turn to 070.
United 228, you can proceed direct news egg whenever you want. Change group, have a good one.
Kieran Com, Emirates 228 Heavy. Have a good day.
You too.
So flaps come up to 5. And we'll continue the left turn. And we'll proceed direct to Newsegg. Actually, we'll go direct ellipse, because that's a better turn for us. And we'll go flaps up. I think we should get a good view of Seattle Airport, maybe? Seattle Airport's right there. It's kind of in the clouds, as usual. There it is. Alright. After takeoff checklist, landing gear up, flaps up. Done with that checklist. And we're just going to continue straight up to 310, which is our final for right now. We'll be doing step climbs throughout the flight. And I will leave you guys with a little montage of us flying up to our cruise altitude. And I will see you guys back, hopefully in part 2 for our landing in Dubai.